anything just because there's freedom of speech. The court also asked if Rahul Gandhi had any credible evidence of the claims that he was making, and then remarked that if you were a true Indian, you wouldn't have said such things. Listen in to how the BJP responded to this.
के देश का खिलाफ बात मत करो, हमारा तो सुनता नहीं हुआ, इसलिए आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो फटकार लगाया, अब तो चुप होना चाहिए। तो हर बात सोच समझ के बोलना चाहिए, मन में जो आए ऐसा कैसे मत बोल सकते। यहाँ दिल्ली में बैठ करके 2000 किलोमीटर ले गया, कभी लद्दाख कभी अरुणाचल, बिना मतलब का बात करता है। इसके बाद दुस्साहस नहीं करना चाहिए। हमारे डिफेंस के बारे में, हमारे सैनिकों के बारे में, हमारे देश के जमीन के बारे में इस तरीके से बात नहीं करना चाहिए, जिससे हमारा देश के मनोबल को नीचे गिरा देते हैं और हमारा देश का छवि का नुकसान होते हैं।
Rahul Gandhi's legal woes over his comments is not new, though. This is not the first time that a court has come down heavily on the comments that he has made. It started in 2016 when the Supreme Court had slammed him for alleging that RSS was behind Mahatma Gandhi's murder. The top court had asked him to furnish proof or apologize. In 2019, ahead of Lok Sabha elections, Rahul had mounted serious attacks over the Rafale deal, going on to say that even Chaukidar Chor hai, and remember, that is a comment that he had to apologize for. He had to apologize, an unconditional one, because he misquoted the Supreme Court back then. In 2023, ahead of the elections in 2024, Rahul Gandhi was in fact convicted for 2 years for his defamatory statements suggesting that all thieves have the Modi surname. He was even stripped of his MP-ship only for the Supreme Court to then stay that sentence. Earlier this year, Rahul Gandhi was pulled up for his comments against Veer Savarkar, where he called him a British servant. The court had said that it was an irresponsible statement. Earlier this year, again, there were similar comments that were made that landed the leader of opposition now in a big soup. He was pulled up by the Allahabad High Court for saying that Chinese troops had thrashed Indian soldiers. And once again, the Supreme Court coming down heavily on the claims that Rahul Gandhi has made, especially since he was talking about our forces.
जब ये टिप्पणी आई है तो एक सवाल उठता है, does India, does Bharat deserve a more responsible, a better leader of opposition? और इससे पहले भी किस तरह से झूठ भी बोला है, गैर जिम्मेदार बयान भी दिए हैं और सेना का मनोबल तोड़ने वाले बयान भी दिए हैं, यह आपके समक्ष मैंने रखा।
देखिए, क्या कहा क्या नहीं कहा मुझे नहीं मालूम है पूरी तरह, इसलिए मैं इस पर कोई प्रतिक्रिया तब तक नहीं दूंगा। जहां तक सवाल है राहुल गांधी का, आज अगर सबसे निर्भीक, निडर, साहसी आवाज मोदी सरकार के खिलाफ कुछ उठ रही है तो उसका नाम है राहुल गांधी। तो हमें गर्व है अपने नेता पे, जो भी देश हित में, जनहित में है वो उठा रहे हैं।
Let's open this up. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former DG of the Infantry, joins us. Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson of the BJP, is with me here in the studio. Dr. Nishant Anand, spokesperson of the Congress, and political analyst Kailash Adhikari joins us. Dr. Nishant Anand, let me ask you, why is it that Rahul Gandhi makes these comments time and again for the courts to pull up and say, where is the evidence? That's exactly what the court asked him again today.
Hi, good evening to everybody. See, I'll start by saying, as a true Indian, Rahul Gandhi ji has to hold the government accountable. I'll give you a few facts. As a true Indian, we do not whitewash the sacrifices of our soldiers. When 20 soldiers died, after 4 days, Modi ji said, na hamari koi seema mein aaya hai, na koi hamari seema mein gaya hai. Point number 2, whatever facts has been mentioned or whatever statements has been made by Rahul Gandhi ji, it is based on military experts, satellite images and the military office, which estimate that India has lost thousands of square kilometers. Now, I'll give you one more thing. India military used to patrol in these areas, Depsong, Demchok and Chumar. Now they need permission from the Chinese. Now, SP of LAS submitted a paper at the annual Director General of Police conference stating that the access of 26 stations, patrolling stations, has been lost in eastern Ladakh. So these are the facts. In 2021, Rahul Gandhi ji submitted a written question in Parliament. The question was suppressed and citing military of defense objection due to national interest. Now again in February 2025, Rahul ji again raised the issue in Parliament, and Rahul ji speaks on behalf of the people and national interest. Now he is either stopped or says anti-national. Now in PM Care Fund in the last 5 years. I'll
So
tell
if
you
the
5
Supreme Court
Chinese-
has asked him a question today, do you think that's not credible? Is that what you're saying? That he is being suppressed? That his freedom of
no.
speech is not being given to him by the Supreme Court? Is that what you're saying?
Supreme Court stated that you should raise these questions in the parliament. And I'm telling you, in 2021 and 2025, Rahul ji has raised these questions and he was stopped and called anti-national. Now, Congress party and Rahul ji do not raise questions without any proofs and facts.
But
As
he
I
didn't
said,
raise a
there are
question when he said that the Chinese have occupied 2,000 square kilometers of our land. That was an assertion. The problem is with that, which is why the Supreme Court asked, where is the proof? Were you there?
That is why I'm answering you. There are satellite images. There is an interview of SP of Ladakh, and it has been said by the army chief also at some point of time. Now, there is a video that I can show you right now from the BJP MP from Arunachal Pradesh. He said it in the parliament that हमारे यहाँ से 60-70 square kilometer की जमीन जा चुकी है. He was a BJP MP from Arunachal Pradesh. Now, last thing I want to say, 5 companies who recently in the last 5 years has funded PM Care Fund. Number 1, Hawaii sent 7 crore rupees to PM Fund. Paytm, which ownership is 36% by Chinese, 100 crores. And ByteDance, owner of TikTok, 30 crores. These funds has been given to PM Care Fund. And as I said, Rahul ji have never said anything without the facts. There are satellite images. There are interviews.
Then maybe
given
his
by the
legal team just didn't do a good job in court today, because that's exactly what the Supreme Court asked. But Pradeep Bhandari, the Congress says that he is well within his rights to ask questions of the government of the day. Why is he tagged anti-national? Because he asked those questions.
Well, Poonam, right to freedom of expression does not give you the right to be anti-national in your freedom of expression. Now, all of these arguments, none of these arguments were mentioned by Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi in the court. So, point number 1, freedom of expression does not give you the right to say, and I quote Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi said that Hindustan ki army ko Cheen ne peeta tha. This is what exactly Rahul Gandhi had said in 2022 when he was undergoing a Bharat Jodo Yatra. And when the Supreme Court of India asked him what is the proof of 2,000 kilometers of land, not a single proof was given by Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. In fact, he defended it by saying that these statements were political, which the court did not agree to. Now, this is not for the first time. Recall what happened in 2019 when he was saying that Rafale mein corruption hua hai. The Supreme Court said that you should be more careful on your statements. And he has been repeatedly called out by the Supreme Court of India. When he was calling Veer Savarkar a British agent, the Supreme Court lambasted him and saying that this is not how you treat freedom fighters. So he is a habitual liar because he wants to create a democratic deficit in this country. When India was battling the Chinese in Doklam, I very well recall that Rahul Gandhi secretly met the Chinese ambassador and he was taking forward the Chinese line that the Chinese had defeated the Indian, which was contrary to the truth. Now let's come on the front of Pahalgam. Rahul Gandhi has still not said that the terrorists in Pahalgam killed the innocent because of looking at their religion. Rahul was asking Hindustan ke kitne jet gire. Rahul Gandhi's right hand P. Chidambaram is saying that Pakistan's hand is not involved. So why is it that consistently Congress party takes an anti-India line, whether even it is to the extent of calling 2611 an RSS ki sajish? So what I charge here is that Rahul's habit is to be anti-national, and this is why we say that he is in the remote control of Pakistan and China. And now the court itself has said that no patriotic individual in his right mind, they can definitely ask questions. He has the right to ask us questions, but he does not have the right to make an assertion that 2,000 kilometers of Indian land has been taken by Chinese.
And that exactly was the problem there. Where exactly is this assertion coming from? Lieutenant Kulkarni, I want to ask you this. You know, the BJP says that when comments like these are made, it demoralizes our forces. The Congress, on the other hand, or the opposition as a whole, says we ask these questions because we care for the forces enough that the BJP does it. Where do you think that the forces stand on this, in the sense that irrespective of what political spectrum you stand on, maybe everyone's doing a disservice by the kind of commentary that's happening?
Thank you, Poonam. I think at the very outset, we are apolitical. We are from the armed forces. I was 10 years back, and of course now a veteran. But definitely, we work for the government, whichever government that we in power. That's what the charter is. Having said that, let's not misuse the freedom of speech. If there is some problem, you can raise it in the parliament. There's so many committees, foreign committee, defense committee, you can raise it there and find out. Having raised it outside, it gives an impression that there doesn't seem to be any kind of an agreement on any issue. And therefore, personally speaking, I don't mind volunteering for any of these spokespersons, for anyone for that matter. Please come with me to Ladakh. I will show you around because that's my old area. I can take you to Arunachal Pradesh. Again, that's my old area where I've served for many years. And let me tell you, even the BJP MP for Arunachal Pradesh was absolutely wrong. He does not know what he's talking about. For a very simple reason, the portion that he's talking about was already given and taken over by the Chinese in 1962. What is he talking about in 2025 or even for that matter earlier? Most of these people have not seen the ground. They do not know anything much about it. Yes, certain areas where patrolling was there happening earlier, neither the Chinese patrol nor we patrol. Let's take the case of Penang. So you'll be going up to patrol point 8 and they will be coming to PP4. We neither go to PP8 nor they come to PP4 and therefore there's a little thing that is been kept alive. But to say it's lost territory, it would be incorrect. To say that then what happens is, as if we are playing into the hand of the enemy. You have representation in the UN and the Pakistanis constantly quoting our political leaders. It's not done. We are people who are very, very learned. They are all the ones come from very good families. They are representing the Indian Parliament. They cannot afford to say such things. They must at least take the armed forces into confidence before they say something. Number one. Number two, should there be a problem? I'm saying in perceptual problem or whatever perceptual problem there is, there's always a way to find out. Within the Parliament, there are committees. You can raise the issue within the. Otherwise, why else would the Supreme Court tick him off? Why else would they call him that? Don't you think you're an Indian? Why would the Supreme Court say that? And now to say, what does that put here? It shows that we are now wanting to question the Supreme Court on the decision that they have given. Isn't that incorrect? One, it's better to say, I'm sorry, I didn't know it. It's better to apologize and forget about it. Rather than sticking to it and hanging around it and again and again saying, no, I'm right. I think definitely it doesn't speak high of anyone. And therefore, it's very important that we are all Indians, we are all Bharatiya, and therefore that's very, very important for all of us. Should there be a doubt, you can clarify. I'm willing to have a volunteer. I am only 70 years old. I'm a volunteer. I don't mind taking you to everywhere, right across Ladakh, anywhere and everywhere, including Siachen. No problem whatsoever, including Arunachal Pradesh, wherever. Nobody beats up. How can the Chinese beat up the Indians? Can you say like that? It's not done. It's not done. Because the place what he's talking about is the place where I served. I've gone there. I know what it means. Nobody fights like this. So therefore, it's very important what you utter and what you speak. You speak a little more.
Absolutely. And politicians, elected representatives need to choose their words wisely, Dr. Anand, because their words carry weight. Kailash Adhikari, I'll get you in. But a quick rebuttal, Dr. Anand, because I saw your hand going up to what Lieutenant General Kulkarni was saying.
See, I understand what he's trying to say as he's a veteran, but we need to understand BJP has not taken the accountability of any of the incident in last 11 years. Pradeep Bhandari was talking about Pahalgaon attack. Till today, there is no accountability of that incident which happened in Pahalgaon. Why did 26 innocent people were killed? Till today, we do not have those 4 people who were killed. Now, this is the video. This is the no. This is a video by the BJP MP or Arunachal Pradesh.
He has already corrected that he was speaking about the land taken by the Chinese at the time of Jawaharlal Nehru. Stop spreading the fake news.
Okay, let's not interrupt each other, but also Dr. Anand. But Dr. Anand, let's stick to the point here. The point of the matter is that you have to choose your words wisely, especially for somebody who keeps on getting reminded of that, none less than the Supreme Court. This is not the first time that the Supreme Court has come down heavily on Rahul Gandhi for the kinds of language he uses, the kind of words he uses.
Ma'am, are we comparing Rahul Gandhi with Modi ji and the senior leadership of BJP, wherein they have abused to the community in the parliament, where their MPs have raped 70% of the MPs have been murder cases and rape cases.
It's a fake news.
So we need
it's
to.
a fake
but
news.
What is that got to do with what we're discussing right now? We're talking about what the Supreme Court said of Rahul Gandhi today.
No, but it is connected. How can we not question about the language of BJP leaders?
Because it's not what about rape. It's not that if you do it, then let me do it and then it's fine. That's not how it should be.
Rahul Gandhi ji sent a letter in 2021, 2nd of December to Om Birla ji requesting to discuss on this issue. It was rejected and he was stopped and said anti-national. Same thing was done in February 2025. So anytime when we speak about India, when Rahul Gandhi ji want to discuss about an issue, he's been stopped. And when he talks about it, he's been called anti-national. What steps we have to take? Today, we cannot ask him questions about Adani scam. We cannot question him about the NEET exams. We cannot question him about this Chinese land acquisition. We cannot ask anything to BJP.
Sir, nobody is saying you can't ask questions. That's not what the Supreme Court said either. It's just that you cannot make assertions without proof. But Kailash Adhikari, I'll get you in, Pradeep. Kailash Adhikari, you've been waiting patiently, so I want to ask you this. You know, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, when this comment was made, of course, he was just a member of parliament. Now, he is the leader of opposition. Many within the India bloc, within the opposition ranks also feel that as the leader of opposition, he's failing to unite people by digressing into other issues that he shouldn't be talking about. Do you think he's a liability?
Absolutely.
Don't you think BJP and Modi ji is a
thinks that he's a liability?
Kailash Adhikari has patiently waited, Dr. Anand. Please let him have his first word.
It's not just about me. The entire nation thinks what you just mentioned. So, that's a matter of fact that no one needs to even second it. But now coming to the point more seriously is that as a leader of opposition or as someone who's been in the opposition on matters of national interest, it becomes highly necessary for all politicians, be it of any party in the opposition, to speak very carefully on matters of national interest. And in such a case where we are talking about the army and our borders and our national as well as international security, and here we see Mr. Rahul Gandhi making statements callously, such as, our soldiers are getting beaten up and our land is getting grabbed without any proof. And now when a defamation suit is filed against him and then his lawyer appears in the Supreme Court. And also Dr. Abhishek Manu Singh, we mentioned that probably Mr. Rahul Gandhi should not have said in the manner which he said. So somewhere now there is some kind of application of mind by the lawyer also that what was done by his own client was not right. If Rahul Gandhi considers himself a serious politician and as someone who thinks for the good of his motherland, if he thinks India to be his motherland, then he should not pass such statements. An elected representatives, as you rightly mentioned, needs to have some kind of decorum while speaking in the parliament or outside the parliament, and that too on matters of national interest and national security. How can one take such kind of callous approach in front of the media? And that is what the Honorable Supreme Court said, that if you have some issue, raise this issue in the parliament. How can you make social media the platform or the forum for raising matters of national importance?
Dr. Anand, I'll come to you. Let him finish, please. I'll come back to you. I'll give you your time. Kailash Adhikari, finish your point, please.
I just finished it, but he didn't allow me to speak.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, Pradeep. The question is that why does the opposition feel that they are being suppressed? Rahul Gandhi is not the only one who says we want to discuss China and we were never given the opportunity to do so in parliament. Assaduddin Owaisi on multiple occasions has also said that we have questions to ask, we want to do it in the right forum, but it doesn't happen. We don't get the answers in the parliament.
Poonam, Rahul Gandhi is a unique leader of opposition who has now become the poster boy of anti-nationals. Please tell me, has the Supreme Court of India in the past commented the way it has commented on any politician? Because the Supreme Court of India has asked Rahul Gandhi that if you would have been a true patriot and a Bharatiya, you would not make this fake claim that 2,000 kilometers of Indian land has been taken by the Chinese, after the Indian army categorically clarifying it. No patriot will ever say that Indian army was defeated by the Chinese in Galwan. No patriot will go secretly meet the Chinese ambassador. No patriot will say that Hafiz Saeed is not a threat to this country. No patriot will be backed by an anti-India element, like anti-India terrorist like Pannu. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi has consistently taken an anti-India line. He should resign as the member of parliament, because the real fit for him is Pakistan or China, whose narrative he peddles. Please tell me, I challenge on your show to all the panelists, name me one leader, one politician which the Supreme Court has commented in the way it has commented in the last 20-30 years on the patriotism and the nationalism part of it. Please, I challenge it. In fact, before that, even Allahabad High Court in April 2020, in the past, when Rahul Gandhi had gone to Allahabad High Court, the Allahabad High Court said that, I quote, that you do not have the freedom of expression, does not give you the right to insult the army. This is what Allahabad High Court has said. Please go ahead and read the Allahabad High Court judgment in 2025. So why are repeatedly courts saying that? Now coming to the member of parliament of the Bharatiya Janata Party which he was raising, the member of parliament, he's lying again, had categorically clarified, and this is, I'll tell you the exact date, on 19th of January 2021, he was speaking about the land that the Chinese took at the time of Jawaharlal Nehru, when Mr. Nehru was busy doing Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai and gave Aksai Chin to China. I again ask Poonam, what Rahul Gandhi has done is purely 100% anti-national. Questions to government does not mean questioning the sovereignty of the country by saying that the land of India is taken by the opposition, by enemy country without any basis. What proof Rahul has? Can you show any proof on your show?
Dr. Anand, you were showing us some proof as you claim there are satellite images, but I'd like to ask you the same question that I asked you some time back. Why is it then the court was not convinced? If there was, if in fact there was proof, why did the court today go on to ask where is the proof? Were you there?
Okay, see, I will not comment on the order made by the Supreme Court, but I would like to show you the satellite images, okay, which clearly shows the difference on 9th June and 16th June, which shows the land acquisition by Chinese. I will show you the articles published in Times.
I take objection, Poonam.
Please don't
let him finish. Let him finish. I'll give you your time. Yes, go ahead, please.
It clearly says satellite images reports indicate PLA set up camp and clash site. So these are the articles by the national newspaper, satellite images. Now also there is an image, some junction and surrender military veterans slam Modi government, continuing silence on Galwan. See, we need to understand the question is not today about just about the language. The question is about the accountability. And Modi ji is saying after 4 days of 20 soldiers dying that hamari seema mein koi nahi aaya. I clearly said there are satellite images. There is a news bite given by the SP of Leh Ladakh, and there is a report which clearly says that kilometers of the land from the eastern Ladakh has been occupied by
There
Chinese.
are also reports and there are also army chiefs and deputy army chiefs in the past that have been quoted to say that this is not true.
Correct, but how can we say who's
so you
right
want to
and
trust
who's wrong?
one person that is convenient to your narrative, but not the other person? Is that how it is?
I am giving you several reasons. Now it is up to you which reason you think is good for you. If you want to save Modi ji, you can pick the one which looks nice to you. What I am trying to tell you is there is an image, there is an article published, there is an interview by SP of Leh Ladakh. It's been said by the army people. There are 26 stations where Indians now need permission because they have been accessed by Chinese. How many more reasons do we need? Okay,
and that's the same on the other side as well. Permission is required for PLA troops to also conduct patrolling in certain areas, and nobody has denied that there was an incursion, there was a transgression. The fact that we've had talks after talks for disengagement means that there is an admission something did happen. No one's denying that. Neither the army is nor the government of the day.
So
but to say that 2,000 square kilometers of land was occupied illegally, has been occupied illegally for the last 5 years is quite the leap, isn't it? But Kailash Adhikari, let me ask you this. The court may have come down heavily on Rahul Gandhi, but the fact of the matter is the case was stayed. The criminal proceedings against him were dismissed.
That is because the Honorable Supreme Court will definitely follow the procedures as per law. And that is nothing wrong. By giving him interim protection, that does not mean...
Let him finish, please. I have very limited time.
It's a very wrong habit of the gentleman.
Go ahead, Kailash.
By giving interim protection to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the Supreme Court, naturally being the apex court of this land, has followed the law. Even he, as a citizen of this country, is entitled to interim relief if the case made out is so. But that does not mean that what Mr. Rahul Gandhi has done in the capacity of being a politician as well as the leader of opposition is right. He's been given interim protection against a defamation case because there were certain legal grounds, and naturally any court, and that too the Honorable Supreme Court, will definitely follow that. But giving interim protection does not mean that what he has done as a public figure or as a responsible elected representative is right. And that we'll come to know when the case attains the finality. Interim protection does not mean the final verdict.
Sure. I'm completely out of time. But I want to give Lieutenant General Kulkarni the last word on this. Lieutenant General Kulkarni, as far as relations between India and China are concerned, over the last 5 years, we've had several within the government, including the External Affairs Minister, say that this perhaps is the lowest in our ties, but we are seeming to be on the mend now. Another question that many within the opposition, many in the country also ask is that if this is a country that often needles you, often provokes you, then why are we in a situation where we want to engage with them?
What happens is there are various agreements. If China has violated all those agreements, that is why what happened in Galwan was the result of the violation of those agreements. As regards the relations with China is concerned, China is a neighbor and we ought to have a good relation with them. It helps them. But definitely peace and tranquility along the LAC is a prerequisite for good understanding and better relations with China. There is no denying the fact. See, there are all, especially with China or even with Pakistan, there are various complex issues, and therefore certain things which are not understood by the public or may not be. Who better than the parliamentarians? They have so much of knowledge amongst themselves that they can be a part of a committee, question us, call us, ask us, what is it like? Why is it happening like this? Because otherwise, as I said, as a veteran, I'm a volunteer. Please come with me to Chumar. Please come with me to Depsan, Delchok, Arunachal Pradesh, Magra, Taksing, wherever you want to. I'll take you off and you will be surprised. Because most of the time what is coming in the media is not right. The satellite images are not always right as to what it is. Yes, there was an incident, and therefore all that has happened. Constantly we are bickering, no, it's been occupied, it is not like that. Certain things have gone wrong. That is why all these talks. Poonam, you're absolutely right. Why else are we talking with the Chinese? Why are the Chinese wanting to do what they're wanting to do? Therefore, it's very important that none of the politicians who are not aware mustn't say anything or speak with some amount of it in the parliament and definitely not in the social media, because that gives a feeling that within the country the enemy makes full use of it, and we should not allow.
And this bickering is perhaps the only thing that demoralizes the forces, and that should really stop. And I have to leave it there. But I thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us here on this edition of Brass Tacks. Shifting focus now, speaking of neighbours, let's talk about Pakistan. CNN News 18 has now accessed an explosive, detailed report that exposes Pakistan's direct involvement in the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack. The investigation confirms that all three attackers were Pakistani nationals. They were senior commanders of the terror group Lashkar-e-Toiba. They were trained and armed across the border. This report that we've accessed also identifies Suleiman Shah, alias Faisal Jatt, as the commander of the Lashkar-e-Toiba who masterminded and led the entire attack. Their movements, their links to Pakistan, they're all now established. And perhaps this is a reality check for all those who have been asking questions of whether they were homegrown terrorists, whether there was any local link that was involved. So here's a list of the recoveries that nails Pakistan and that has been put in place, given as proof by the intelligence agencies, by our military establishment. One was the Pakistani voter ID card that was found on these terrorists. There were voter slips that were found in their pockets. That is one link that, beyond any doubt, shows that these are not homegrown terrorists. There is a smart ID chip, NADRA-linked smart ID chip. Now, this is a database that Pakistan follows, which includes biometrics, which includes your data. All of this was found in the damaged satellite phone that was found after these terrorists were eliminated. Pakistan manufactured items like chocolates, wrappers, ammunitions. They were all found at the site where these terrorists were killed. There's forensic and technical confirmation as well. Casings were found that were matched to the rifles that the terrorists had on them and the ones that were used in the Pahalgam attack. There was blood on a torn t-shirt that was found in Pahalgam that also matched the DNA of one of the slain terrorists. So why is it exactly that questions are still being raised about whether these terrorists were actually Pakistani nationals or no? And if there's any more doubt left, here's what was retrieved. There was a micro SD card that was retrieved from the satellite phone, which was damaged, that was found at the scene again after these terrorists were neutralized. All of this biometric data that I was talking about confirms that they were indeed Pakistani nationals. Their addresses in the Kasur district of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is another link between Pakistan and these terrorists. There were chocolate wrappers that were recovered, all of which were believed to be Karachi-based brands. They also point to the origin of these terrorists. There are numbers that are traceable, in fact, to these consignments. They were shipped to Muzaffarabad in 2024 in POK. That's what we're now learning. So if this is not proof, then I don't know what is, as far as the link of Pakistan, an undeniable one at that, is concerned, as far as the April 22nd Pahalgam attack goes.
Investigators have been able to piece together evidences to ensure that the Pakistan's link is established in Pahalgam attack. After killing 3 terrorists in Dachigam area, finally a dossier is going to be prepared where every link to establish them with the crime is being done both scientifically and by using different methods. Their satellite phone links, their communication, their date of entering into Indian territory through Gurez, their stay in Gurez, and how the operations were launched to ensure that they are nailed. Now, the interesting part of this entire investigation is the finding of Pakistan, government issued cards which are laminated in their pockets. Even the toffees and the candies which were found on them had markings of Pakistan on them, which clearly established that they had come from nowhere other than Pakistan. What we also know is that the SD card has been recovered from the damaged satellite phone, which can give crucial links in this case, that who they really communicated to, what was the data that was inside, because ballistics has already been done. The sort of ammunition that was recovered from Pahalgam has been checked with the AK rifle. It has been clearly established that they were the gunmen, including Suleiman and others, were part of this massive crime that they did in Pahalgam. And now what we also know is that after ballistics and ensuring that all these things are clubbed together, and a report is formulated to show the international community that how Pakistan orchestrated Pahalgam massacre.
Shifting focus now to a CNN News 18 campaign. India's cities are growing faster than they can cope with, and it's starting to show. Whether it's the roads that we drive on, it's the air that we breathe, or the garbage that is piling up once every single downpour hits. There's a flood every street corner. It's getting harder to ignore how badly our urban infrastructure is cracking. This isn't the first time that we're talking about it. Citizens deserve better. You and I, the taxpayer, we deserve better. We do not want our cities to look the way they do every time it rains for about half an hour. In this CNN News 18 campaign to save our cities, we get you reports from the National Capital Region, from Mumbai, from the financial capital of the country as well, exposing the reality on ground of how there needs to be more that governments of the day, that local administration of the day needs to do to ensure that you and I, the taxpayer, live a better life.
On Saturday evening, right here at the Jogeshwari Vikrori Link Road, right here at Powai, was where a 59-year-old lost his life. 59-year-old Lalu Kadam, who was a resident of Andheri, was passing by from this very road, and his bike hit the pothole. There was a huge pothole here, which has now been covered up by BMC. In fact, you can see the kind of shoddy work that the BMC has done. After having hit this very pothole, there was a dumper which was passing by from this very location. Lalu Kamble fell from his bike, fell on the road, a dumper ran over him, and that's how he lost his life. This is the first death because of a pothole that's been reported in the city this monsoon. Every year, several such deaths are reported time and again. In fact, after this very instance has been reported, BMC has been trying to cover up several such potholes in the city. In fact, even before the monsoon had hit, the government had claimed that the road works has been completed well before time this monsoon, but several potholes have now emerged as the monsoon has progressed in the city. When it comes to death of Lalu Kamble, an FIR has been registered at the nearby police station, that's Powai police station, and on the basis of this is where the driver of the dumper has also been arrested. He has been arrested on the charge of accident and rash driving of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But like you can see, this road is a crowded stretch. It is a heavily jammed road. A huge traffic movement that takes place connect eastern and western suburbs of the city, and which is where, after the death of Lalu Kamble, questions have been raised time and again about several such potholes that emerged in the city, leading to death of pedestrians as well as those who were riding bikes. Because last year as well, a similar instance was reported at Thane, wherein a bike rider had lost his life, and several such reports come up every time during the monsoon season. But the question remains that whether the government is really going to work on these such issues.
Moving on now to history that was created at the Oval today. It was a famous win that India scripted, winning the 5th Test match against England to level the 5-match series to all. Mohammad Siraj picked up 5 wickets to help India to a famous 6-run win. In addition to Siraj, Prasidh Krishna chipped in with his 4-wicket haul as well. India's pacers rose to the occasion. They bundled out England for 367 to win the 5th and the final test by 6 runs. It was a thrilling end to the test series that was fought well. India's pacers took the final 4 wickets. Mohammad Siraj, like I pointed out, was the hero of this match. He led the attack in the absence of pacer Jasprit Bumrah. He cleaned up Atkinson, and that really was the turning point today. This has been a series to remember, not just for Siraj, but for the entire team as well.
What we did this morning kind of summarize what this team is all about. 70 odd runs, 7 wickets in hand. The way Brook and Root were going, not many teams in the world would have given themselves a chance. But this team believes that, whenever we have some kind of an opening, we can get through that opening. And that's what we were talking about once Brook was out and then we got early wicket of Bethel, that this is our opening. Let's try to build pressure on them. One more wicket from here. And you never know, it's cricket, still 70 odd runs on day 4 on that kind of a wicket, or even 50 runs, they would be under pressure. But when you've got bowlers like him bowling, it makes your job as a captain very easy. You're just standing out there and you just want to appreciate their bowling. Test cricket should be as it is. It's in my opinion, it is the most rewarding and satisfying format. You work the hardest to be able to get a win.
इसको तो हाईली रेट करूंगा, क्योंकि जैसे हम लोग ने फर्स्ट डे से लेके अभी तक 5th सीरीज और 5th डे, मतलब जैसा फाइट किया हम लोग ने, एक अनबिलीवेबल फाइट, ईच एंड एवरीवन ड्रेसिंग रूम, एंड बिलीव इतना था ये ड्रेसिंग रूम में, हर किसी के ऊपर बिलीव था कि हम लोग यहाँ से कर देंगे, क्योंकि यंगस्टर है, हर कोई है, मतलब हर किसी का बिलीव ऐसा था कि हम लोग यहाँ से मैच जीतेंगे। मतलब ऊपर वाले ने भी कुछ अच्छा लिखा था होगा मेरे लिए, इसीलिए आज मुझे ये मुकाम पे और विकेट भी लिया लास्ट विकेट, तो बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। जैसे जब जस्सी भाई ने परफॉर्मेंस कर रहे थे तो मेरा एक ही काम था, जितना हो सके मैं पार्टनरशिप में बॉलिंग करूंगा। और रही बात इम्प्रूवमेंट की, मैं हमेशा अपनी बॉलिंग पे बिलीव रखता हूं कि मैं खुद पे बिलीव रखता हूं कि कोई से भी सिचुएशन से मैं विकेट निकाल सकता हूं। तो मेरा यही एक ही बिलीव है कि या मैं 8वां स्पेल डाल रहा हो या पहला स्पेल डाल रहा हो, तो मुझे ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, बट मेरा 100% देना है, वॉट एवर रिजल्ट इज कम।
25 days of world-class cricket, and what a finish we witnessed at the Oval. The stage was set for an epic finale and the Indian bowlers stepped up in spectacular fashion to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. England looked set to close it out, cruising at 332 for 4, needing only 42 runs with plenty of wickets in hand. But from the very first ball this morning, it was clear the tide was turning. Mohammad Siraj was unplayable, sharp as ever, taking 2 crucial wickets early, dismissing Jamie Smith with a razor-thin edge and bowling Jamie Overton, LBW. Then came Prasidh Krishna, striking quickly to send Josh Tongue packing. The pressure was mounting with every ball. England's last hope rested squarely on the shoulders of Gus Atkinson. With the runs dwindling, Siraj delivered a perfect yorker to uproot Atkinson's off-stump, sealing a sensational win for India by just 6 runs. From being on the back foot on day 4 to an unforgettable comeback, India pulled off one of their greatest test wins ever. England left stunned at 336 all-out, Will Rowe missing what seemed like a certain victory. A 2-2 series draw is a fitting end to a thrilling contest between the two titans. And the man of the moment, Mohammad Siraj. He dominated throughout with 9 wickets in the game, including a game-changing 5-wicket haul in the second innings. A tireless workhorse, Siraj stepped up as India's lead pacer in Bumrah's absence, showcasing everything: outswing, in-swing, yorkers and deadly consistency. Meanwhile, a new era has shone brightly with Shubman Gill at the helm. The young captain has taken over from the greats with flair, scoring a staggering 754 runs in the series. His battle-ready spirit and calm leadership hinted at a promising future, though the journey to consistent success continues. Not to be overlooked, KL Rahul reaffirmed his place as one of India's finest opener with 532 runs and 2 centuries. This Anderson Tendulkar Trophy series may have ended, but the memories will live on. High-octane cricket, fierce battles and the dawn of a new chapter in Indian Test cricket.
Moving on, after 33 years of suffering and captivity, Elephant Mahadevi, once known as Madhuri, is finally free at Vantara's Radhe Krishna Temple Elephant Welfare Trust. For years, she has endured chains, she has endured harsh treatment and severe psychological trauma, even being forced to beg in the name of faith during religious processions. In 2025, earlier this year, following years of legal battles and tireless efforts from animal rights groups, Mahadevi was rescued and moved to her new home under court supervision. This is her story.
For 3 decades, Mahadevi the elephant lived a life in shackles, being poked with an iron rod while walking through processions for begging and returning to solitary confinement at a Jain mutt in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. But after 33 years, Mahadevi, who's also known as Madhuri, is now experiencing freedom for the first time at Anant Ambani's Vantara, the world's largest animal rescue, rehabilitation and conservation centre. This is her story. Mahadevi was separated from her mother when she was just 3 years old and brought to the Jain mutt in Kolhapur, reportedly from Karnataka. Since then, she was confined to a concrete shed far away from the forest where she belonged. Between 2012 and 2023, Mahadevi was transported illegally by the Jain mutt at least 13 times across state borders to participate in various processions. In 2017, after years of torture and cruelty, Mahadevi fatally attacked the chief priest of the mutt. After the chief priest's death, temple trustees urged the forest department to take custody of Mahadevi and relocate her to a zoo. In 2023, Mahadevi was seized by the Telangana Forest Department for violation of Section 48A of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 for illegal transportation of an elephant from Maharashtra to Telangana. The elephant's custody was handed over to the Maharashtra Forest Department. Maharashtra's chief wildlife warden wrote to the high-powered committee of the Supreme Court recommending that the elephant be rehabilitated. By this time, Mahadevi's health had deteriorated. She had grade 4 arthritis, foot rot, overgrown nails, and worn-out footpads from spending a lifetime in chains on concrete. In 2025, the Bombay High Court ordered Mahadevi to be rehabilitated at Vantara's facility in Jamnagar. This was challenged by the Jain mutt, but the Supreme Court upheld the High Court order and directed authorities to ensure her transport to a sanctuary. Despite 2 court orders, protests have erupted over the transfer of Mahadevi from a Jain mutt in Kolhapur to Jamnagar in Gujarat. Several religious and political groups in Maharashtra raised objections, claiming that the elephant was part of an established religious tradition at the Jain mutt and that her being moved out has disregarded cultural sentiment. When forest officials and sanctuary staff arrived to rescue Mahadevi, they were attacked by a mob. Stones were hurled at the rescue team. But nonetheless, the elephant was moved safely under judicial supervision to Vantara in Jamnagar. Now, in the care of the Radhe Krishna Temple Elephant Welfare Trust, Mahadevi is undergoing treatment for chronic arthritis and foot damage. Her treatment includes hydrotherapy, medical observation, and crucially, freedom of movement and companionship. Vantara posted her recovery plan on its Instagram handle, saying, "We promise her the highest standard of care, gentle, consistent and rooted in love." Mahadevi's new home Vantara was chosen based on expert veterinary and legal recommendations. It is equipped to provide specialized care for elephants with chronic injuries, trauma and psychological distress. For Mahadevi, Anant Ambani's Vantara offers not just safety, but a complete reversal of conditions she has endured for decades. She now has freedom of movement, medical treatment, companionship, and peace.
The Epstein saga has been haunting US President Donald Trump, and there have been developments in the recent past that have raised several questions. Ghislaine Maxwell, serving 20 years for her role in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking network, has been reportedly transferred from a Florida prison to a facility in Texas. Why was she moved? What does this mean for the investigation? And why are questions around Trump and a possible pardon trending once again? Here's a deep dive.
The Epstein files are singeing the MAGA base of President Donald Trump. It has been the single biggest polarizing issue in the last 6 months that President Trump has been in office. Last week, one of Trump's top attorneys met with Ghislaine Maxwell, a longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein and a fellow convict, and that meeting has set tongues wagging. Is Donald Trump getting ready to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Todd Blanche, Attorney General Pam Bondi's deputy and a former personal attorney to Donald Trump, conducted 2 extraordinary days of interviews with Maxwell, who was once a fixer for the former financier Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell is now in prison in Florida on charges of sex trafficking and is serving a 20-year prison term. Her lawyer estimated that over the course of the 2 days of extraordinary interviews that she gave to Todd Blanche, Maxwell answered questions about 100 people, although her lawyer did not specify clearly whether those people included victims, associates, or others who were implicated in the sex trafficking case. Or he didn't explicitly mention whether there was any topic of discussion around President Trump and his name figuring in the Epstein client list. Maxwell has made it clear that she wants her 20-year sentence either thrown out by a court or reduced, or better still, a presidential pardon. President Trump, asked whether he would consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, said that he is allowed to do so.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
Attorney Blanche has described his trip to Florida to meet with Maxwell as a neutral fact-finding mission. He says he would share details of the discussion at an appropriate time. But he has also declared that the federal criminal investigation into targets beyond Maxwell and Epstein are currently closed. By that standard, new interviews with Maxwell would appear to serve purposes that are beyond traditional law enforcement, unless there is some kind of new evidence of criminality that's been discovered. The Justice Department offered Ghislaine Maxwell conditional immunity to discuss her case, but the protection did not apply if she was found to be lying in her interviews. In total, the interviews lasted about 8 to 10 hours. The discussion between Blanche and Maxwell has also stoked concerns from critics of President Trump that he may give Maxwell a reprieve by giving her a presidential pardon. Senator Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader, questioned whether Trump's attorneys had offered Maxwell some kind of corrupt deal so that she can exonerate Donald Trump. Some conservative news outlets which have been friendly to Donald Trump have now begun to soften their tone about Ghislaine Maxwell. In fact, they had previously described Maxwell as a child sex predator, but now they are suggesting that she might be trusted to tell the truth about the case. This week, a host on Newsmax, which has praised Trump in the past, went so far as to suggest that Maxwell just might be a victim who was not given a fair legal hearing. That is something you wouldn't have heard from the Trump MAGA base up until a few weeks ago. No offers of clemency have been made by the White House, neither has it been discussed in the meetings between Blanche and Maxwell, and Maxwell's lawyer has said that she's not asking for any kind of quid pro quo for answering questions put forth by Trump's lawyers.
If she is seeking a pardon, how do you go about doing that now with a potential congressional testimony pending? With the Deputy Attorney General?
You know, we're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And you know, listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way. Thank you.
Ghislaine Maxwell has appealed her conviction to the Supreme Court of the United States, arguing that she should not have been charged in the sex trafficking case in the first place. She says she's protected because of a non-prosecution agreement that federal attorneys in Florida had reached in 2007. That agreement promised that potential co-conspirators will not be prosecuted. And Maxwell's case and her argument is that she should be protected too from prosecution, not just in Florida, but also in New York, because it was agreed to by federal prosecutors. The US Congress has subpoenaed her to testify in August. Maxwell has put forth some conditions that must be met if she were to give her testimony, one of which is immunity from further prosecution. She also wants reduction or pardoning of her sentence. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill have rejected such preconditions. More importantly, there is now new audio out of President Trump where he's heard talking about Epstein stealing girls from his Mar-a-Lago resort. In fact, he refers to one of them by name, Virginia Guffrey.
Just to button up on Mar-a-Lago, you're saying that Jeffrey Epstein poached 2 of your staffers. Who were they?
Yeah, I don't want to say 2, or I don't want to say any number. You're talking about many years ago. But yeah, he took people, and because he took people, I say, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took Beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it.
The president's team is working desperately to try and quell the rebellion of Trump supporters who feel that either the president himself or certainly some of his senior appointees led them astray during the campaign, where they made all kinds of claims that they would make the Epstein files public and that there would be retribution for the big-name liberals whose names had been hidden by the Democratic establishment in the Epstein files from coming out. Right-wing influencers have pinpointed Ghislaine Maxwell, who was also Epstein's former girlfriend, as the key to unlocking more details about the convicted sex offender. Those who have clamored for more information about Epstein's crimes and the circumstances of his death have long suggested a conspiracy that shields liberal elites, particularly the ones who were good friends and pals with the disgraced financier. Still, questioning Maxwell has helped take away some of the pressure off Trump. Ghislaine Maxwell helped Jeffrey Epstein recruit and manage his roster of victims. She was convicted in 2021 of conspiring with Epstein for nearly a decade. She refutes those charges. She's also made it clear that she wants her 20-year prison sentence thrown out or reduced or pardoned. Now the ball is in the president's court.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Absolutely. The very fact that, had 4 results out of the 5 test matches, even that one draw was a hard-fought draw. And other than that, we've just had so much to talk about, so much drama in this series, so many lovely performances. All of those test matches, India has been in the mix. Some didn't go their way, but to come back in the final test match, really with the sword hanging over you, stupendous performance by the Indian side and the young of the Indian side. I asked Memen, senior journalist, who's also joining us, we were talking about exactly this. A lot can happen even if you need 30-odd runs, but with just 4 wickets in bag.
Oh, absolutely. I thought, the key was getting an early wicket, in the first 3-4 overs, and that happened. In fact, we got a couple of wickets. So after that, the pressure, you mentioned earlier also how difficult it is to get those last 30-40 runs, especially when the pressure builds up to a crescendo, so to speak. And I thought, again, Mohammad Siraj was absolutely marvelous the way he's bowled right through this match, in fact, through the series. And Rajiv also mentioned, so while there is, Shubman Gill 750 plus runs, when you look at the impact Siraj has had on the series in terms of the matches won, the match saved, etc., he would be the man of the series because bowlers ultimately end up winning you the matches. But having said that, I think it's been a tremendous team effort by many of them on their first series in England, without Rohit, Virat, Ashwin, all of these players not there, and not many thought that India would even survive after losing the first test, that it would survive. And here you are with a 2-2 draw, which will go down in the annals of cricket history as one of the great contests that we've seen.
Yeah, I think the only one who was the remnant of the previous era, if I can use that term, was Ravindra Jadeja, isn't it? There is no Pujara, there is no Rohit, there is no Virat, there is no Ashwin. The last time, we played, it was only really Ravindra Jadeja. Of course, Ravindra Jadeja has played even as far back as 2014 in England. And that was also pretty exciting series to watch as far as the India-England battle is concerned. But, this is what young blood has really proven itself for Ayaz, because I would say that when they started out, yes, we had our own issues in the fact that we knew that maybe Bumrah will play only 3 of the 5 test matches, so we had to be very careful with him. It turned out to be exactly that. We knew we didn't have a lot of batsmen who had played in England before, but even England wasn't at their fittest or fullest, right? What has to be said though is that from both sides, even if you look at that, that win that England managed, where Jadeja and Siraj, in fact, 2 super players in this series were on the pitch trying to get India that win. All of those moments, the banter between the 2 players on the pitch and, for others as well, there was just so much drama happening as far as this series is concerned. That just goes on to show the heart and the character that each player brought in.
I think so. I think that they just took it on themselves to put up a really great show, be extremely competitive. I mean, there's not been one session which hasn't been enthralling.
Yes,
Right through the series, and that's difficult to sustain that kind of intensity. Remember, in this match, you're without Bumrah and Rishabh Pant, two of your best players. And then you go on to win the match and level the series. Yes, of the old guard which you mentioned, Jadeja is still there. Rahul is there. Rahul has played in England earlier and he's had a marvelous series also. But I think the overall scenario is that after losing the first test, and especially with England scoring 373 to win that match, it seemed like, Baz ball will get the better of this new look Indian team very easily. It didn't turn out that way. I mean, England have had their own issues. They've had injuries, especially to Ben Stokes. I think Ben Stokes missing out this match was a very major blow because Stokes has been by far the best
He was
player.
their best bowler, yes, before this test match, yes.
Best bowler, best batsman, influence on the field as the captain.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe he'll wonder a little bit if he had pushed himself and just kind of played, body on the line kind of an issue here. Rishabh Pant did it for India. Chris Wokes has done it. Certainly, from the cricket fans, a big salute to all of these, players who really put everything on the field. But yes, one wonders if Ben Stokes had taken a slightly different call. I don't know how important or how serious it was for him to sit out. But it just goes on to show that this team now has the pedigree. This was supposed to be that test, right? The start of a new era under Shubman Gill as captain, but also because the entire core of the team has changed. But before I come to you, Ayaz, in fact, let me take this to Rajiv, because does this team have that feeling around you there, Rajiv, that yes, ये नई टीम है, हमें प्रूव करना है कि ये कोर अब आगे जाके कितना खेलेगा, कौन-कौन होगा, कैसे चलेगा, क्योंकि वो ही सवाल थे इस सीरीज से पहले. New start of the WTC, cycle, a new start for the captain, in a way a test for Gautam Gambhir as the coach as well, and a lot has been said about everyone.
बिल्कुल, सबसे पहले तो गौतम गंभीर बहुत रिलीफ महसूस कर रहे होंगे क्योंकि इससे पहले ऑस्ट्रेलिया हार गए थे, उससे पहले न्यूजीलैंड से होम सीरीज हार गए, तो सबसे ज्यादा कोई रिलीफ होगा तो गौतम गंभीर होंगे क्योंकि सीरीज लेवल किया उन्होंने. और जैसे कि आपने बात की ट्रांजैक्शन पीरियड से, देखिए इंडियन
Viewers, leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi has faced withering criticism today, and it's not from the usual suspects. It's not from the BJP or from the larger NDA. It's also not from within the Congress or within the Greater India Alliance. But this time, Rahul Gandhi has been criticized by the Supreme Court of India, no less, viewers. The Supreme